This is a good book. Ever since I read the book, I wanted to turn it into a Zomboid challenge. Well, I already did, but that was No, since then, I've gotten much better at making challenges, storytelling, and a whole bunch of mods have come out. Thank you, Monkey, for fixing Fear the Sun. So after many tests, it's time.
A curfew has been issued, and the greater Kentucky area has been placed under quarantine by the military. Officials have urged that supplies will soon arrive, and that the situation is under control.
My name is Robert Neville, and I know that help is not coming. When it started, I did what they asked. I stayed home. But I wasn't prepared. Should I have gone out earlier? Probably. Things are bad in the outskirts. I think everybody rushed to the city. Or at least, the ones that didn't get infected first. I don't know what's causing this. Some kind of disease? Mass hysteria? All I know is that I don't want to be near anyone. They could be contagious. The best course of action in an unknown situation is to play it safe. Get out, get safe. But I'm desperate. I need food. There's a supermarket down the road. It's the last place you'd want to be in a crisis. But I have no choice. The people still left here. There's nobody on the streets. It's like they all want to get inside. How long have they been banging on those doors? Their heads cracked open. I see bone and brain. Eventually I made it, but as I suspected, this is not the place I want to be. I tried to lose her in the trees, but it was no use. I tried to catch my breath in a car, but the reprieve was short-lived. Nobody in the store. Good. But the doors are locked. I had to jump through the broken glass. The window is single pane. I don't have long before it's through. I grabbed everything in sight and ran for the back, slamming the door behind me. He still had the presence of mind to open the door and almost grabbed me. In the frantic escape, I ended up in the block behind my house, where I happened upon a car key. No gas, but it looks like it runs. I'll remember this, and I'll keep the key for myself. I lock the doors and take off my mask, taking the first deep breath in hours. Safety at last. I didn't get much food, but it'll see me for a few more days at least. I cooked some fish, the only fresh food I found, until screaming erupts in the distance. Distracted, looking out the window, I let my fish burn. What a stupid mistake. I set the timer way too long. I settled for a bag of chips instead. Closing the blinds in my bedroom, winding down for bed, I decided to sleep with my pistol. I didn't take it out today, thinking it would be an instigation of violence. but things are far worse than I thought. I thought I was hearing things, but no. Someone was banging on my door, and I knew instantly it was one of them. I slowly, carefully lowered my gun in the dark. The doors are sturdy. They would surely crack open their skull before it broke.
Do we have an amazing product today for you? This looks like any normal kitchen knife. Am I wrong?
I listened to the cadence of the hits. Bang. 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 Now there was more than one. I lost my nerve. I grabbed the table and pushed it against the door. Bang. 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 Now there was 4 of them. I completely lost my nerve. I started looking for more barricades. No, they could go through the windows. I need to go upstairs. I grabbed the first piece of furniture I saw, blocked the stairs, and hid in the attic room. It was early morning when I decided to get up from my sleepless night. They had completely destroyed my home. A distant gunshot invigorated me to check downstairs. Pistol loaded, I removed my barricade. There was one in the hallway. I tried getting her attention, but she either couldn't hear me or didn't care. I was able to sneak up behind her and clubbed her over the head. I heard more downstairs, so I finished her off. It didn't feel good, but I was in panic mode. What if the others below heard me? 2 more downstairs. One of them ran at me. It was strange. Most of them seemed docile, not responding to sound. Suddenly and randomly, they would dart around the house, as if I wasn't even there. I didn't understand a fucking thing about them. I cleared the house as carefully as possible. I'd never shot this gun before. Before long, the house was clear. As the adrenaline wore off, I entered a daze. My home was destroyed. Everything, in one night. My safety, gone. Would they come back? All I could do was clear the corpses and debris. One of them was a police officer. I felt like I was grave robbing, but I took his stuff. I flicked through the 12 o'clock news. The signal wasn't great,
The Knox event is contained.
and the news wasn't any better.
During the now more than a lot of chemical tests in this area. Someone just threw a firebomb. Someone in the
After I was done with the bodies, I washed my clothes and took a bath. I don't know if it'll be enough, but I still don't know anything about this event, how it spreads. I could be infected already. While waiting for my clothes to dry, I started moving furniture to block the stairs, just in case. I ended up scratching my arm, and I realised I had no medical supplies. An infection without antibiotics or hospital care could be fatal. It was really dawning on me just how unprepared I really was. I used a sock to bandage it for now. Suddenly, I was aware of the time. The attack happened late last night. It's no pattern, but I'd never been attacked before. I'd barricade myself upstairs. Better safe than sorry. I woke up to the 6 a.m. news.
is now one option. The president has asked for patience and calm, and is to storm a protest from Republican leaders. I understand the frustration. I can hear you, loud and clear. I understand the frustration because I'm like you. I want to know when my fellow Americans fellow Americans who are laid low with sickness can be returned to their families.
There weren't as many to clear out today. One of them jumped me while I was carrying a corpse. I wasn't able to drop the body in time. Resulting in a laceration on my right hand, my weapon hand, a scratch on my left forearm, and a nasty gash on my head. Now, it was paramount that I found medical supplies. Assuming that encounter hadn't just got me a one-way ticket to the infection fair, I had to rip more of my clothes to stop the bleeding. With the day still young, I figured it would be best to head to the pharmacy down the road. There's also a nearby hospital, but that sounds like the worst place to be right now. I was weak. I could barely fight anymore. It was completely empty, apart from a pack of alcohol wipes. It'd have to do. Once again I'd been jumped. Another wound to my weapon hand. I could barely close my fist now. In the fighting, I didn't realise that I'd lost my mask. I cleaned and put on a medical mask, but I knew that I'd been exposed. It had either got me, or it hadn't. So, I pressed on. The pharmacy was part of a mini strip mall, and I was unlikely to come back this way, so I took any supplies I could take. Dog. Before I left, I heard a radio. I decided to grab it, but had I left it too late? Nighttime was fast approaching, and I was tired. But even though the sun was setting, I still had the presence of mind to check cars for gas. It was only a bottle's worth, but maybe that would be enough. There wasn't time to sort my loot. I dropped it all in the kitchen and secured the house for another night. And not a moment later came the nightly screams. So I brought the radio to the attic and prepared for a long, feverish night, listening to the news, waiting to see if I was infected. I woke up with purpose. Clear the house, fuel the car, and get to a gas station. The gas station was too far to safely make it on foot, but if we siphon just a little more gas, it should be enough to get there. Once again I was caught off guard, with no weapon in my hand. With my injured hand, I kept fumbling, missing the drawer on my axe, more of them. I don't know if it was the storm drawing them out, or if they were just more infected. Ah! I injured my leg when I fell, and I was limping. I needed to get out of here. Just a little more fuel. I don't see them anywhere. Are you kidding? Just out of the red. Surely this was enough. I was hounded the entire time, but luckily, it was never overwhelming. Bit by bit, I fueled the car. I managed to get a full tank, and our options opened dramatically. I passed by a tool shop on the way here, so I checked for supplies that might help me. There wasn't much, but there was a ham radio. Might come in handy. Can't risk it, can't risk it, can't risk it. Come on. The car wasn't in great shape, but it would suffice for what we had planned. It even had the emergency frequency. We arrived at my destination, the Louisville evac. On the emergency broadcast, they said that the infection was airborne. My health was getting worse. I was sick. This could be my only hope. It wasn't looking good. It was almost deserted. Almost. I pressed on, hoping that someone was still in here, knowing that there wasn't. "8 p.m. There was no time. I couldn't take the risk here. I needed to get safe. I retraced my steps, running, jumping fences to save time. Exhausted, I fought any resistance with all my energy. I brought my supplies with me. I wasn't planning on going home. But now I was turning heel and retreating. There was no time to think. I got in the car and turned the ignition. Once. Twice. Thrice. It finally started. 9 p.m. The sun was setting and we were a long way from home. I was in full panic mode. I took a wrong turn. 9:30. The sun had set. The screams followed. In the panic, I kept taking wrong turns. The cars! Now I knew where I was. Onto my street. And I launched myself out of the car. No! The hammer and saw were in the boot! I needed them to barricade the doors. I was covered in blood and sweat. It sounded like I'd been followed, so I took extra care to barricade. But oddly, it was a quiet night. I was left to my own thoughts, still wondering if I would succumb like so many others had. Hello. This one was a lot slower than usual. Normally, 5 days barely gets me 10 minutes. What did you think of the focus on storytelling? There were some glaring issues despite my testing. I'd worked everything out and the playtests were great, but driving really messed with the zombies' ability to get inside, meaning they kind of just acted like normal zombies during the day. That's just some of the jank with Fear the Sun, but if I were to play more slow-paced, it should give them a chance to act properly. Also, a big horde was supposed to spawn at the end, and it just didn't. They really don't seem to bother me. Perhaps being in the attic is messing with their pathfinding, as we should have been having about 10 zombies per night by this point, not including the extra 30 from Here They Come. I've finally set up a channel membership on Patreon. I make a load of tests and drafts of projects that don't always make it to YouTube. I figured this would be a nice behind the scenes if anyone was interested, plus shout outs at the end of every video. I'd also like to make a ad-free version of every video for members and patrons, but enough shilling. Thanks for watching. Oh god, I left everything open. Oh god.